how I rebuilt my credit and my finances after divorce. Here are the real tools that actually work. Hi, my name is Missy. Welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. I have been helping women rebuild themselves, rebuild their energy, their body, their confidence since 2015 on and off. Took a little break and I've been back. So I actually recorded this episode a few weeks ago during Mercury retrograde, and it didn't record. It must not have recorded because then when I tried to edit it, it was just not there. We're doing this again. And I have cleaned my room up this week. And so I'm kind of loving this setup. Let me know if you like it. Historically, I've always done better standing up for videos. And I just feel like my energy flows better than when I'm sitting down. So we're going to try it out. So several years ago, my credit was not great, probably in the 500s range. So in the past couple years, I went through a divorce. I gave up my duplex. I got laid off. And I have been in a period of rebuilding and restabilizing myself. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my credit is perfect, but it is building. And I want to tell you the tools that I've been using, and maybe it will help you. Okay, so I haven't always made the best financial decisions. My credit got where it was because of some really not wise decisions I made in college. I'm sure you maybe can relate. So in college, I ended up getting all of these credit card pre-approval. They all wanted my money or they wanted to give me money. $1,000 credit limit, like right off the bat. And I took it. No harm, right? Until I went through a breakup or I was having a bad day and I wanted to go shopping. And yeah, I didn't have cash in the bank, but I had credit cards and I utilized them. And I didn't make great decisions with those credit cards. I buy clothes or I would redecorate my room or whatever. Then I made a really bad decision. And there was a guy I knew that talked me into co-signing a phone bill for him. And in the first month, he racked it up to $800. Yeah. I don't even know what you need to do to rack up a cell phone bill to that amount in the first month. But it became clear after 30, 60 days, he had no money to pay for that credit card bill. And that was now my financial responsibility because I co-signed it. So there were times when I was in college that I did really well and I was able to pay some of these credit card bills off. And then there were times when I was negligent and irresponsible. And I found myself in a feast or famine kind of relationship where it was constant either depletion or impulse buys. And so what I mean is I could get into this habit of being really responsible, paying for things, paying things off, but then I felt depleted, like I'm working so hard and I have nothing to show for it. And then I would go swing in the opposite direction of I want this and I'm going to buy it. And I would forget I had credit card bills. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been in this kind of situation. I am not like this now, and I've finally figured out a healthy dynamic of how to navigate between responsible and my own pleasures. And then I got married. And while I was married, I mostly was a stay-at-home mom with little to no income, no real steady paycheck. Although I had little side gigs that helped pay for gas or groceries, but it was nothing substantial. And I felt really in a not good place, a really not an empowered place of being able to take control of my finances. So I just didn't deal with it. And I pushed it under the rug. I'll deal with this when I can, which was not for 15 years. So I've talked a little bit before. I had little to no financial access the entire time I was married. I didn't have shared bank accounts. I didn't have a card. There was no our money to where we could work on this together. It is really easy to sweep your bills under the rug when you are married. Because he was the sole breadwinner, I didn't need my credit. I didn't need to apply for anything. He paid for things and we used his credit until I was going through a divorce, and now I have very little income coming in. And I also still have low credit, bad credit, fair credit. I actually started repairing my credit a few years before I filed for divorce. Not because I knew I was going to file for divorce, but just from a place of I really want to get a handle on this. I want to get things paid off, and I want to start to build a healthy credit score again. So back in 2020, I ended up opening up a Chime account. So I don't know if you're familiar with Chime, but it operates similar to a prepaid card where you put money in. However, and you can utilize it like a checking account. They also have savings. However, there's not really any fees associated. So I was tired of paying all the traditional banking fees. Banking fees if you didn't have enough money in the bank. Transaction fees if you used your card too much. Overdraft fees. And previously, I had gotten myself into a little bit of a bind because I was operating a business. I didn't have a lot of cash flow coming in, yet those Apple subscription charges would hit my account randomly, and I didn't really know when it was going to hit. And so a $5 charge, I ended up getting a $25 overdraft fee. And it didn't matter if they paid the $5 charge or not, they still charged me the overdraft fee. And I was a little bit frustrated because it was really hard to get caught up. So I went to Chime because I wanted an account that didn't have all of these traditional fees. And the way Chime does it is if you don't have money in the bank, it gets declined and there's no fee associated. And so I liked the features that Chime had. I could do direct deposit. I got a debit card. It operated very much like a regular bank without the fees. Now, what I wasn't expecting is shortly after I signed up with Chime, they introduced a credit builder account. So the credit builder account is associated with my checking account. It's connected. However, they report it to the 3 credit bureaus like a credit card. To where, let's say I have $300 reoccurring bills coming out of that credit builder account because I have a debit card that is associated with the credit builder account. I can put money in there just the same as I put in my checking account. And then let's say I pay $300 in monthly bills through that account. They're reporting that $300 to the credit bureaus like I paid off a $300 credit card bill every single month. And so it helped to establish good credit through the credit bureaus. And this is not like an overnight thing, but month over month, eventually after several months, up to a year of this, then it started to look better on my credit. So if you are working on establishing cash flow, I highly recommend Chime because they are so good. I've been so happy with them. A couple other features, they have a Spot Me, which is like an overdraft. You can opt in or opt out of it. But again, there's no fees associated. So you might start with like $20 spot me, connect it to your checking account. And let's say you don't have any money in your account, but you need gas. And you can use that spot me to put gas in your car or to buy food or to pay a utility bill. And over time, the $20, it slowly increases based on your good standing with the account and also the amount of direct deposits you have. So the more you get paid in direct deposits, they will slowly increase. And I think 175 is the max. And you can, if you don't I do have 175, but let's say I don't want it to go that high. I only want it a spot me of 100. There's like a little lever button that I can decide on how much I want my spot me to cover. And then you just pay it back with your next direct deposit. They just take it automatically to pay it back the next time you get a direct deposit. So the next thing I did while I was just starting my divorce, I opened up a self credit builder, and it operates similarly where the self credit builder, you decide a monthly amount. It's taken out of your checking and put into similar to a savings account. And so you commit to this monthly amount. It could be $20, it could be $50, and they're going to put it aside. And then they also report your payments to the 3 credit bureaus to determine that you have a loan in good standing that you're making regular payments to. At the end of that loan, I think it was maybe a year. You commit to this for maybe a year, and maybe it was 9 months. I can't remember exactly, but at the end, you get it all back. And if you choose, after 90 days of making consistent payments, you can also opt to have a secured credit card, like a debit card. So let's say you deposit $20 a month into this self builder card. So $20 comes right out of your checking account for 3 months' time. And then after 90 days, they're like, hey, you have $60 sitting in this account. Do you want a card that you can use? And they will ship you a debit card, and you use it like a credit card, but you could only use it up to how much money you have in that account. So this is also another good way to start rebuilding your credit and also building the habit of paying that monthly credit card bill. And the third resource I have for you is shortly after my divorce, I opened up a Capital One credit card. Now, Capital One is known for helping people with bad credit or credit issues, and they will help you reestablish your credit. So I got a credit card with a low balance, a low credit limit of $300. And it is also because you're making regular payments and you're maintaining a balance on there, they're going to report that to the credit bureaus. So if you are in any kind of situation where I was, these are 3 tools that have really helped me. And I'll tell you now what I do. So I have almost cured that feast or famine rule that I explained in the beginning of the video, where I felt I was very responsible, but then I felt like almost depleted, like I'm working so hard and I have nothing to show for it. Now what I do, and I can do a whole episode on this later, but what I do is I have certain percentages that I do every time I get paid. So I know what my paycheck is going to be. I know what my direct deposit is going to be. And I know that 50% of that needs to go to household bills. And let's say 10% of that is going to go to savings. Let's say 10% of that is going to go to investing in myself. that's like courses or books or a conference. So I have a certain percentage of what I know, everything that I come into, I get, it has a place to go. And so I don't have this feast or famine. I want to get my nails done, but I used all my money for groceries or I used all my money for something else. Like I know how much money I have coming in and I have a place and a certain amount that I'm directing that money to go. So let me know if this helped you. Let me know what tools have you used and found helpful to rebuild your credit, rebuild your cash flow, and help you get back on your feet if you're rebuilding.